Part 96. The Emperor wants to disband the harem for Yi Yang. The next day, Yi Yang still slept until 3 poles in the sun before getting up, yawning all the way. He dragged at a slow pace towards the dining room. It's just that before he left his bedroom, Xiao Doubting rushed in excitedly. "Young master, good news. Great news. No matter how big the good news is, it's not as important as my meal. For Yi Yang, eating is the most important thing at this moment. Any good news, please step aside." "Young master, you don't know. This morning the emperor announced in the morning that he would dissolve the entire harem and leave you alone." Xiao Doubting was so excited that he seemed to have won the 5 million jackpot, and could not wait to celebrate with Yi Yang. These words sounded like a thunderbolt in Yi Yang's ears. He never imagined that the emperor would actually come with such a wave of slapstick acts, which caught him off guard. If this group of people in the harem knew about it, they would not have to swallow him alive. Before he recovered from this incident, Xiao Anzi walked in a hurry and reported, "Young master, concubine Ling came with several concubines and said that he has something to ask you for." There was a hint of Xiao Anzi's expression worrying because he saw concubine Ling and the others were aggressive, and he was afraid that they would come to trouble their young master. Yi Yang is not stupid. Seeing them at this time is purely looking for abuse, so he directly said, "No." Then he rushed to the dining room to settle his breakfast. Although he can't see it now, but they came to greet him in the afternoon, and he would definitely not be able to escape. So he had to fill his stomach first before he had the strength to deal with the tough battle in the afternoon. Halfway through the meal, the culprit of this incident, Jun Yi, came to him with a proud look on his face. Yi Yang glared at Jun Yi angrily, then put down his chopsticks and said, "Your Majesty, is it really okay for you to hurt me like this?" Now he is not only the #1 enemy of the West Palace, but also the #1 enemy of the East Palace, maybe still in the courtroom. The #1 enemy of those ministers. Those people absolutely forced him to call him a demon concubine behind his back. Jun Yi was stunned for a moment. He thought that Yi Yang would be very happy when he disbanded the harem, but he was blamed by Yi Yang, and suddenly felt wronged. "I thought you would be very happy. Then scold me for cholera and the entire Holy Dynasty. I'm sorry, he's really not happy about this. He never thought that one day he would become a demon concubine that would bring disaster to the country. If someone told him that a year ago, he would definitely call that person an idiot. But in less than a year, he was fortunate enough to become a demon concubine. Thinking that his bad reputation will be recorded in the annals of history, and that he will be scolded by later generations as a demon concubine of the country, I really have the heart to vomit blood. They dare." Jun Yi exuded a stern and majestic aura. Xiao Doubting, who was serving on the other side, felt unwell, and his body trembled uncontrollably. "Your Majesty, although you are the monarch of the Holy Dynasty, but the people want to talk behind their backs. What can you do? Besides, the disbanding of the harem involves huge benefits. How could the ministers in the court let you disband the entire harem?" Yi Yang worrying in a hurry. The Holy Dynasty has only captured Jinghe Kingdom, and the officials there have not yet arranged it properly, and now they have immediately created a disbanded harem. Isn't it forcing the officials of the Holy Dynasty to rebel collectively? Jun Yi thought that after he announced the matter this morning, the officials in the court went from disbelieving to strongly disapproving, and sneered. So, what if they objected? "This is my family affairs. How could it be their turn to intervene in my family affairs?" Jun Yi saw Yi Yang still look worried and comforted. "Don't worry, if they dare to manage my family affairs, I will intervene in their family affairs. As for you, don't worry about anything these few days. please be safe, and reject all those concubines outside the door. Don't worry, this matter is with me. And I will never let them hurt you in the slightest. Yi Yang was still very worried, but seeing Jun Yi's confident expression, he had to nod his head and let Jun Yi settle the matter. That afternoon, Yi Yang shut himself in the room directly, turning a deaf ear to the concubines who were shouting outside the door. The next day, when he got up early, Xiao Doubting informed Yi Yang of the news. He had inquired, "Young master, in the court this morning, the ministers tried their best to dissuade the emperor. And several families threatened the emperor with dismissal." Yi Yang knew that there was no imperial examination system in the dynasty, so officials were recommended by aristocratic families. If they were dismissed, a large part of the court would follow suit. And the entire Holy Dynasty would have an embarrassing situation where no one could be an official. Without official control, it is conceivable what the chaos of the Holy Dynasty will look like. How does the emperor resolve this matter? Yi Yang asked Xiao Doubting with a worried look. Xiao Doubting reported truthfully. The emperor immediately ordered the minister of the ministry affairs to count the names and birthdates of the children of the ministers in the court. As if he wanted to intervene in the marriage of the children of the ministers, and the ministers were so angry that they almost vomited blood. This is really hurting the enemy. 1000 self-loss 800 Ah. Yi Yang sighed, and then his eyes became sharp. Since the emperor could fight against the entire court for him, he naturally would not let the emperor face all the difficulties alone. He stood up and walked out of Jinghong Hall under Xiao Doubting's confused expression. Yi Yang walked out of the Jinghong Hall. No surprise, there were more than a dozen dissatisfied concubines standing at the gate. As soon as they saw Yi Yang, they hurriedly bowed and asked Yi Yang for an explanation. But Yi Yang did not give them this opportunity. Yi Yang looked stern. Standing on the steps, he looked down at the concubines below, and said indifferently, "I know you have a lot of dissatisfaction. But I didn't make this decision, so it's useless for you to find me. Imperial concubine, you can persuade the emperor." Someone made a dissatisfied voice. "If I could persuade him, I would have persuaded him long ago." Yi Yang was about to leave after saying these words, but concubine Luo, who usually doesn't show off the mountains and water, stood up and said, "My brother knows the difficulties of the imperial concubine, but I also hope brother imperial concubine can think about it for us. If we are sent out of the palace, we will definitely not be able to raise our heads when we go home, and we will be looked down upon by the family all our lives. He rarely sees the emperor on weekdays, so he doesn't want to fight for favor or something. I will fight with Yi Yang, but now I just want Yi Yang to raise his hand so that he can have a place to live in the harem. Yeah. I also hope that the brother imperial concubine will raise his noble hand and let us have a place to live in the harem." The other concubines nodded, all showing pitiful expressions, praying for Yi Yang to soften his heart. Yi Yang looked at the concubines as if looking at idiots. "Everyone. The emperor has already said that he will give you a new household registration and give you a large sum of severance pay. Keeping the palace until old? Anyway, he didn't want to share the same lover with a large group of people, so seeing the emperor insisted on disbanding the harem, he persuaded it symbolically, but did not try to persuade the emperor not to dissolve the harem." Hearing that there was not only a new household registration but also a large amount of money, the concubines who did not pursue rights instantly became angry, and there was a little expectation in their hearts, looking forward to the cool days after leaving the palace. But what some people pursue is rights, and naturally they will not easily give up their immediate rights. But elder brother imperial concubine, my brother, I love the emperor very much. And I don't want to leave the palace. Concubine Ling's yin and yang strange voice came. What he likes about the emperor is all fake, he just wants to disgust Yi Yang now. Yes. The concubines who did not want to leave the palace all agreed with concubine Ling's words. Love, when I saw you, I just wanted to disgust myself. What bothers Yi Yang the most is concubine Ling. This guy has been against him since he crossed over, as if he would die if he didn't. Since he is always disgusting with him. Let him disgust him today. He imitated concubine Ling's tone and said, but concubine Ling, this is a decision made by the emperor, and I can't do anything about my brother. You are embarrassing me like this, you might as well go to the emperor and ask for mercy. Maybe the emperor is soft-hearted and won't let you out of the palace. As soon as he finished speaking, all the concubines were instantly disgusted, and they almost vomited against the wall. Yi Yang hurriedly walked towards the Xingchen palace before the disgusting people came back to their senses. No one knew what Yi Yang said to the emperor when he went to the Xingchen palace, but when the emperor's decrees were issued one after another, everyone was stunned.